In this video, I want to show you how you can use the sum function and addition formula in Google Sheets. Here is my demo Google Sheet with student last name, student first name, and dates in which students earned extra credit points. The first thing I'm going to do is freeze the top row so when I scroll, the headers will remain in place. To do this, navigate to the left of column A above row 1, where there is an empty box. It looks like this box has a drop shadow. However, if you hover over the shadow until your mouse pointer changes to a hand, you can click on that shadow, drag, and snap it into place below row 1, and it will freeze your row. Next, I'm going to bold my header so that it stands out. To do this, highlight the cells you want to bold and click B on the menu bar, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control B or Command B on a Mac. Now let's resize a column so that we can see the data inside each cell. To do this, hover over the columns until you see the double arrow and double click on them. This will automatically snap the columns into place. To make the data easier to read, we can format this Google Sheet so that each alternating row is a different color. You can do this one of two ways. You can highlight the entire sheet by clicking on that box that we talked about earlier that is located to the left of A and above row 1, or you can select the data that you would like to apply this formatting to. Click Format, click Alternating Colors, and over on the right, you can select a color of your choice. Now that I have my spreadsheet formatted how I want, let's add some formulas. The first thing I want to do is calculate how many extra credit points were earned each day. Here in cell 21, I'm going to type totals per day. Now I'm going to click on cell C21 because that is where I want the total for November 4th to go. Anytime you want to start a formula or a function in Google Sheets or even Microsoft Excel, you must start with an equal symbol. Now before we begin, I want to define the difference between a function and a formula. A function is a formula that has been built into a program, while a formula is a user-defined calculation. I'll show you the difference in this video. When adding a long list of numbers, the sum function is easy and quick to use. We're going to type sum. You'll notice that already Google is guessing that I want to sum up cells C2 to C19. I can scroll to verify that it is correct, which it is, and I can click on it. For the most part, Google guesses the range of data that you want to sum correctly. However, sometimes it gets it wrong, or sometimes you want to change the range of data. You can edit the formula at any time by double-clicking in the cell, place your cursor inside the parentheses, and delete the data range. To redefine the range, click on the first cell you want included in the range and drag all the way to the last cell. When ready, hit Enter. I also want to point out that you can click on a cell and double-check the formula in the formula bar at any time. You'll notice the formula for sum is equals sum, open parentheses, the first cell that starts the range, which is C2, colon, to the last cell that ends the range, C19, and close parentheses. If you don't see the formula bar, you might have it turned off. To view the formula bar, click View, click Show, click Formula Bar. You can also use the sum function to calculate rows. Repeat the same process, but by row instead of column. Here you'll notice that Google doesn't know what range I want to sum. So what it has done for me, it has opened the parentheses, but hasn't recommended a range of data. When this happens, just as mentioned earlier, click on the cell that you want the range to start with and drag to the cell that you want the range to end with. And when ready, hit Enter. Now we could repeat the same steps, but this would take quite a bit of time depending on how many students you have in your classroom. So instead, what you could do is you can click on a cell that already has the formula in it, and over on the right-hand corner of the cell, simply click and drag. Remember, you can always double-check the formula at any time by clicking in the cell, and in the formula bar, we can see that the range is C8 to D8, which is correct. Now let's move on to a simple addition formula. Now let's say I want to know the total points earned for the 2 days. I could use a sum formula because the numbers are next to each other, and that would be perfect for a range. Or I could create a formula. To do this, type equals, click on the first cell that you want added, type the plus symbol, click on the next cell that you want added, and hit enter. Now let's say my students were participating in teams. I could use the same formula to figure out which teams earn the most points by using the addition formula. To demonstrate, I'm going to select a couple of students just so you could see what that would look like. So here I have totals by team, and I'm going to type equals. I'm going to select my students, use the addition symbol, and continue doing that until I've selected the entire team and hit enter. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.